What if an AI could listen to the secret language of your heart and predict a deadly condition hours before it even starts? Well, we're about to dive into some incredible new research that's trying to do exactly that. Just think about that for a second. What if a doctor could get a heads up, a full 2 hours in advance, that a patient is about to go into septic shock? The ability to do that would change everything. And that's the powerful idea we're exploring today. So, what exactly is sepsis? It's important to know it's not the infection itself. No, sepsis is the body's chaotic, over-the-top, and often deadly reaction to that infection. It's when your own immune system, in its attempt to fight, just goes haywire and starts damaging your own tissues and organs. And the stakes here are incredibly high. For patients who go into septic shock, the average 30-day mortality rate is nearly 35%. Think about that. That's more than 1 out of every 3 patients. It's a truly staggering number, and it just screams for a better way to get ahead of this. And that really gets to the heart of the problem. With sepsis, you are in a desperate race against the clock. Every single minute matters, and the biggest challenge doctors face has always been spotting it early enough to make a difference. The tools we have right now, like the SOFA score or these early warning systems called News and Muse, well, they just aren't cutting it. They can miss the early signs, or their predictions are just okay, not great. In fact, the official 2021 guidelines basically admit that there's no single perfect screening tool out there. So we really need something new. So if the usual signs aren't telling us enough, where else can we look? Well, it turns out the answer might be hiding in the rhythm of our own heart. Let's talk about something called heart rate variability, or HRV. The best way to think about it is like this. A healthy heart is like an amazing jazz drummer. It's complex, creative, constantly adapting, and making tiny adjustments to the rhythm. That's a high HRV. But as the body starts to slide towards sepsis, that rhythm becomes rigid, simple, almost robotic, like a metronome just ticking away. It loses all that beautiful complexity, and the HRV plummets. That change, right there, is the secret warning bell. Now, to be super clear, HRV isn't just your heart rate. It's not about how fast or slow your heart is beating. It's the measurement of the tiny millisecond-level differences in time between each individual heartbeat. These tiny variations give us this incredible window into how your whole nervous system is doing. And the researchers didn't just look at one number. From that ECG data, they pulled out 55 different data points, these physiomarkers. They're grouped into 5 different categories, giving the AI a really rich, multidimensional picture of exactly what the heart is doing. Okay, so you have all this incredibly complex data from the heart. How in the world do you turn that into a life-saving prediction? Well, you train an AI to be a lifeguard. Let's walk through how they actually built this thing. The process itself is pretty brilliant. First, they put a simple wearable device on patients to continuously record their ECG data. Then, software crunched all that data to pull out those 55 different HRV markers. After that, they fed this mountain of information to a bunch of different machine learning algorithms and basically said, okay, find the patterns that scream sepsis is coming. And at the end of it all, one model came out as the clear winner, something called XGBoost. And here is the really clever part. The goal wasn't just to predict sepsis. It was to do it using only the HRV data from a single wearable. No other vital signs, no waiting around for lab results to come back. Just the rhythm of the heart. That's what makes this whole approach so practical and non-invasive. Okay, so this brings us to the part you've been waiting for, the results. After all this work, training this AI lifeguard, did it actually work? How well did it perform? 120. That's the key number, 120 minutes. The model could provide a 2-hour head start in the race against septic shock. I mean, that is an absolute game changer. And just look at how it stacks up against the old methods. They measured accuracy with a metric where a score of 100 would be perfect. The new AI model, XGBoost, scored a 95. That blows the existing tools out of the water. The new score is way back at 89, and Muse is even lower, 82. It's not even close. So the takeaway here is crystal clear. The numbers don't lie. This new model, which works by just listening to the heart's variability, was simply better. It ran circles around the conventional tools that doctors are using in hospitals every single day. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The researchers themselves wrapped it up perfectly. They said this isn't just a cool science experiment. It's a promising non-invasive tool that could genuinely improve how we take care of patients and, ultimately save lives. So let's zoom out. What does this all mean for the future?
How could a technology like this actually change what happens inside a hospital?
You can really picture it, right? A patient comes in with an infection. They get a simple, cheap monitor put on. In the background, an AI is analyzing their HRV 24/7. The moment that AI detects the dangerous shift from jazz drummer to metronome, bam, an automatic alert goes to the doctors and nurses, and they can start life-saving treatment hours before the patient would have even looked sick.
The advantages are just so obvious. It's non-invasive, it's continuous. It's not just a single snapshot in time. It's built on technology that can be made low-cost and accessible to hospitals everywhere. But the biggest thing, the most important thing, is that it finally allows medicine to be proactive, to get ahead of the crisis, instead of just reacting after it's already started.
And that leaves us with one last really exciting question. This is probably just the beginning. As the smartwatches and wearables we all have on our wrists get more and more powerful, what other diseases are we going to be able to predict? What other conditions will we hear coming just by learning to listen to the silent, secret language of our own body?